Tery Howard, the CTO of Miami Dolphins and Sun Life Stadium. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Welcome. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate you spending some time with us today.
Thank you for having me.
I got to dive in. First of all, Miami Dolphins, you know, one of the most renowned brands in the NFL, and probably worldwide when it comes to the National Football League. I got to keep coming back to this. Why is mobile so important, or is it so important to the Miami Dolphins?
And it's interesting because we covered that in a panel discussion today. And mobile is actually revolutionizing and transforming.
That's huge.
The game day experience.
Yeah.
And it's inevitable. With consumers now consuming so much content, generating so much content, how can we use mobile to differentiate the experience? One of the challenges we have today is we're competing with the sofa in their homes, the high-def television, and all of the gadgets they have in front of them with their friends, getting all the stats, the replays, and the highlights. So how do we bring that into the stadium, into their seats, into the palm of their hands, so that they can enjoy the experience, irrespective of what happens on the field, because we can't control that.
Yeah, and certainly there's emotions that fly. But one of the things that I always wonder is that, are you worried about too much distraction at the stadium? So that, I mean, it is a carnival feel, right? You've got the parking lots are full of people having barbecues, and then you go in, and it's loud and it's energetic. And are you worried that the product on the field is going to suffer as a result of something like this?
No, absolutely not. It's like going to a Cirque du Soleil performance where you, the consumer, get to consume whatever it is that is important and relevant to you. So from the time that we have tailgaters out in the parking lot, we have a 4 o'clock game, and it's 1 o'clock our gates open. So through a mobile device, they're able to keep track of their out-of-town games, fantasy stats, their players, and look at highlights of other teams that are happening as they're tailgating with their friends. They go into the stadium, and during the game, if they're talking and socializing and they miss that replay, immediately they'll be able to catch that replay. They'll be able to see what are the scores throughout the league. They'll be able to listen to other audio feeds coming in of other teams that are happening throughout the league.
So, but I noticed that what you're carrying is not the standard mobile device. You guys have been doing this for quite some time, before the proliferation of mobile devices that we see today, but you still carry that. Is there a reason why you're still using this?
Yeah, so 3 years ago we were acquired by Stephen Ross, who's a revolutionary by nature, very innovative in spirit, understands that technology is a differentiator, and knows that we have to empower the consumer to consume the content they want to. So we tried looking at mobile devices, and we made a tremendous effort in doing a lot of research, and we found that when you have 70,000 people in a stadium with their smartphone, there's no way you can stream video and audio and data to a level that is acceptable to the consumer.
Over the standard networks, right?
Over the standard network, whether it's through Wi-Fi, throttling with cellular, it just doesn't work.
Yeah. It's still a limitation, obviously, 100%. So you guys went with a different solution. You equipped the stadium with Wi-Fi, with your own internal Wi-Fi?
So we have Wi-Fi. We have our AT&T is our sponsor, so we have their cellular distributed system in-house, but still not able to transmit video and audio at the level, again, that consumers are expecting of it. There's no way that we can have the consumer look for a replay and have them wait a couple of minutes for it to load. It has to be the immediacy of the experience.
Yeah.
So Mr. Ross decided to go out and offer a proprietary product today, but we know that ultimately it's going to be an app.
It is going to be an app.
Yes.
There's going to be that transition. You think what is it going to take in order for it to really allow this on the iPhone or any other device? And
great question. So we've been working very closely with Cisco, with AT&T, with Verizon, and trying to see how we can get the forces together and look at how the technology is evolving so that we can make that offering. Not until it's crisp, reliable, and can scale, will we venture out into that.
You're ultimately competing with the big networks, aren't you? On this, is that you're and maybe I won't use the word competing, you want to have the same experience as what you get on your TV with the networks and their instant replay and their immersive, the way that they cover the games, don't they?
Well, we actually use, we work with, it's an extension of the networks. Yeah. This is a geo-fenced offering, so it only occurs at the stadium. Yeah. Once you leave our stadium, you don't have access to it. So it's just another TV. We have about 2,000 TVs throughout the stadium today, offering all sorts of video for the fan as they're waiting in line, as they're socializing in the club level. But this just takes that same feed and those same cameras that we're already repurposing out to the networks, and the networks are giving us and putting it on the device. So as soon as they leave the stadium, it goes dark.
Okay, so let me ask you, this is about customer engagement inside the stadium. What happens? How do you reach out to them when they're outside, when they leave?
Right, so we have an offline solution, which is we have our own app. And the NFL has its own app as well, where you get all of the highlights and the replays.
But the Miami Dolphins have their own application.
We do. We do, which is significantly different for off-game experiences.
So, I mean, how big is that going to be for you guys? Do you have a kind of a sense that obviously you're spending a lot of time and a lot of thought around how you're going to make the mobile experience not only in-game but out-of-game very important, and I'm going to assume in the comfort of your own home as well.
Right.
Is that a core tenet for what you guys are doing?
The networks together with the NFL do a phenomenal job of bringing that experience to the homes, and and we're there to help augment that. So they've done a phenomenal job that we are very proud of in having them do. What we are falling short of is in the seat on a mobile device. How do we empower the consumer to consume it while they're there? Now again, this is more for the die-hard, more for the committed fan that is playing fantasy and wanting to keep track of their game. So no longer do you have to stay home, you can come to the stadium,
get out of your pajamas and come to the game.
And become very emotional about it.
So if you were to look at this and what are your top 2 or 3 challenges when it comes to doing what you want to do in the mobile space? What would they be?
Well, I would say that, working with the carriers, providing them with all of the information they need to be able to assess the challenges that we have. Secondly is to be able to create communities. So when we're offline and we're not on a game day, how do we bring fans closer to each other so that they can socialize, share their experiences, and become ambassadors of our brand so that they can then go out and talk about what great experience they have, even if we lost, because there's going to be losing seasons and there's going to be winning seasons. Yes. So we want them to continue to have that passion for the brand, for the team, and for the experiences that we offer. And
mobile allows you to kind of maintain that. That's great. I mean, so when you look out over the next 12 months, I mean, what gets you excited about being a part of the mobile scene?
It's continuing to understand what is important for the consumers, and we're only going to understand that through data points on the social space. So what is relevant to you, and how can we deliver that to you?
So that's what gets you excited about it.
Yes.
And kind of any channel, right? So wherever we can interact with the consumer is where you're going to do it.
Yes.
So mobile's just one of those.
Mobile is one, and it could be via our web, via a sponsor relationship that we may have when they're attending one of our events at a local pub or bar that there's some branding for the Dolphins. We want them to have that affinity with us.
Okay, so I'm going to ask my last question here is really about how there have been many disruptions happening in this industry, in many industries as a result of mobile. But I've got to ask you, is there something that you see that mobile can completely disrupt in professional sports, specifically football?
And I talked about that as one of the last things that I mentioned. We have to get to the point where mobile becomes the personal concierge for the fan, so that as they walk into the stadium, the mobile is speaking to them on our behalf. And that at that point, we know exactly what you want to do, what type of drinks you want to have, what type of an experience we need to cater to you on game day, which is really what it's all about. And then beyond that is a totally different experience.
Okay. Thank you so much. I really
appreciate it.
Thank you.
This was fun.
I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming out.